Hey vlog, it's Tuesday, February 14th, and I'm still in Vicksburg, Mississippi, and we are at the USS Cairo Museum, a Civil War battleship that fought on the river. She was an old ironclad. She was sunk in 1862, but she was found in 1956 and brought up, at least what's left of her. And then they built this museum for her here at Vicksburg's Military Park. It's a National Park Service, and we're gonna go in and see it and look all over. Isn't that cool? Old-fashioned ironclad. Amazing these things didn't just sink of their own weight. They were just such top-heavy beasts, but they look good. And the iron did keep them cannonballs from puncturing the sides and sinking them, so it worked. Led to the modern battleships we have today. Isn't she magnificent? Let's see, 7 ironclads in 100 days. We'll actually be able to at least walk across her. There's some walkways on it so we can get on the ship. 7 ironclads. Wow. Isn't she magnificent? I love these old ships. I wouldn't want to sail on one though. I don't think that'd been all that fun. See the cannon placements? Now there would have been iron on these sides as well as on the front to protect the sides, but they've left her open so we can see it. The Cairo was actually torpedoed and sunk. She was sunk by the first electrically detonated torpedo or mine, depends on how you want to look at it, in the Yazoo River. The USS gift shop in there. USS Cairo, ironclad river gunboat, city class, commissioned January 16th, 1862, torpedoed and sunk December 12th, 1862. Then she was raised on December 12th, 1964. 102 years after she was sunk. Interesting. There she is, the USS Cairo, or Cairo. What a beautiful gunboat from the worst war of all time. And here's the history of her. Completion of plans July 6, 1861, but phew, talk about guts. Took something to sail on these boats. They recreated the chimneys here, as you can see up there. And the gray bands denoted that this was the Cairo because, well, they all looked alike. And these ships were so close alike. You see the cannon placements. And underneath them, we'll see it better when we get on board, but there is the boilers for this guy. More guns. Wonder how many guns she actually had. They made a great museum display here. It's all covered, but partially open as well. So you get sea air feel and but she's covered and protected. Let's see what that says. Got plaques and everything around here. Let's see, National Historic Mechanical Engineering Landmark, USS Cairo engine and boilers, 1862. The Cairo is the sole survivor of the fleet of river gunboats built by the Union during the Civil War with the object of controlling the lower Mississippi River. Designed by Samuel Pooke and built by James B. Lads, the 175-foot ironclad vessel had 13 guns. Propulsion system is the only known early example of the widely used Western Rivers steamboat engine, characterized by multiple fire tube boilers with shared steam and mud drums, and a two-cylinder non-condensing engine having a small bore, long stroke, and poppet valves. This engine was designed by A.T. Merritt with a 22-inch bore and a 6-foot stroke. It developed about 600 horsepower and drove a sheltered paddle wheel of 22-foot diameter and 15-foot width. Cool. Interesting engines. We'll be able to see them a whole lot better here in just a minute. "13 guns on board." How would you like to be this? Here we are on board the ship. Here is the boilers. Here's the boilers. Over there would be one of the pistons, and there'd be one over here too. Full steam ahead. Paddle wheel was enclosed here and kept inside, so it was protected from being fired upon. So this ship actually had a open space inside to the river, which was not common in shipbuilding. Then we have the other cylinder over here. And I would imagine there was a walkway originally so they could get back to those rear guns. Looks like 2 mounted on the stern. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 3 in the bow. So she had 4 on each side and 2 in the stern. Look at that giant piston. She pushed that arm, which went around. Up there, it went around on a torque arm and turned the wheel. And then there's another one on each side. So she was 2 cylinders, drove that giant paddle wheel. And here's a diagram of how it actually works. Oscillating arm, paddle wheel, and piston. Here's her piston. Shoves this up around this way, spins the paddle wheel. Pretty cool. Picture the pistons, the oscillating arm, and then over here is the boilers and the steam drum. And then here, there's the steam drum and the boilers. See, I'm guessing since the paddle wheel was here, this bay here was open, and there've been a bulkhead somewhere in here that's not here anymore behind the boilers to keep the water from them, and they stoke the boilers from the other end because the steam dome is down here. Now let's walk further down, see some more of this. The other end of the engine, and this must have been, and this is where the smokestacks would have been. I don't see where they stoked this engine.
Hey, this boat was more modern and up to date than the Titanic.
Oh yeah? Wonder which end of the, I guess they stoked the boiler at the other end? Huh.
right there.
is down there.
You want to see why I say this is more up to date than the Titanic was?
What?
You don't see it?
I see what looks like a bulkhead.
No, you don't see it in the hull.
No.
Double hull.
Yeah? She is a double hull, isn't she?
Yeah. See the outer and the
Yep.
inner? But then, of course, the men move back and forth down under here.
The black gang was down there. Their coal had to have been stored down there.
If they stored, if they use coal. See, there's double hull.
I see that. Look down to your left and see Cairo's restored firebox doors. Coal shoveled into fireboxes heated the boilers. Steam from the boilers powered Cairo's engines and drove her paddle wheel. Gunboat without steam could not move and was helpless if attacked. Ironclads kept fires burning and steam pressure built up even when anchored for hours on end. Coal heavers piled coal from storage bunkers into the fire room, and firemen fed fuel into each boiler's firebox. Cairo's boilers burned a ton of coal every hour when the boat was underway.
What did it do, go under the...
I'm guessing they don't have. There must have been more, because there's a firebox door restored. There must have been more to it.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
That kept,
There's some brass pressure valves.
and it probably was further down, and the smoke actually just went around the boilers and up the chimneys. That must have been how it worked.
Had to be it.
See, there's the boiler tubes. We're looking at the tubes at the end. You can see the boiler tubes at the end of the boiler. But this structure with the firebox door, this must have gone all the way over and been a box underneath all of the boilers with doors under each, which heated up the boilers, and then the smoke just went around them and up out the chimney. It must have been a compartment around there, connected all.
Probably a model of the museum.
Yeah. Above is the pilot house. Yep, see this open thing. This exposed perch. Deck, the pilot seated in the Here is inside the pilot house. They were protected by iron plates, and then they could look out and hopefully not run into anything. Which river navigation required a lot of watching what you're doing. The capstan. This powerful winch helped crew haul heavy lines, move guns on gun deck, and pull in the anchors. Steam from boilers powered the capstan. In an emergency, this essential tool was turned by hand with wooden spokes inserted at the top of the hub. And there's the capstan. See the slots where you could insert the wooden spokes to turn it by hand. Giant winch and gears down below. There must have been something from this pilot house, the wheel, to go down and connect to the rudder.
Now that sheet metal, or sheet iron,
Yeah. That is. Yeah, you can see how the weather has gotten some of it. And up there, that's the pilot house. You can see it from the outside. That's all they got to look out, is them little square holes. But then again, you couldn't have a big one, or else you'd get shot. Defeat the purpose. Probably. up more. This side shows the plating on the side very well. They've got a lot of it. You can see the doors around the guns. Let's see, plenty of firepower and armor plated. 13 heavy cannon, took a crew of 6 men to position and fire each gun. That's a lot of men just for the guns. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 32-pound Navy smoothbore, 3 42-pound Army rifled, and 3 8-inch Navy smoothbore and a 30-pounder Parrott on the stern. Now you can see in the diagram, here is the paddle wheel, which is covered up in the engines. See the decking and then the stern. So this was a well open to the sea floor. And there is her stacks. Impressive. Casemate and railroad iron. Interlocking iron plates like the ones you can see in the left of the cannon protect the pilot house and sloping casements from enemy fire. Behind the 2.5-inch thick plates were white oak planks 12 to 25 inches thick. When the iron plates took a hit, their wooden backing kept them from shattering. If you look to the right, beyond the walkway, Cairo's crew added these iron railroad rails to protect the boat's exposed forward casemate. So that is railroad iron up there, and it was added later to protect the front because it wasn't protected. Well, that was brilliant. Hog chains, let's see. Now these doors would be able to open, and I think they were actually totally able to close. Pull the cannon in and put it out. Ironclad gunboats had long, flat-bottomed hulls to navigate shallow rivers, yet riverboats. Loaded with heavy boilers, engine, and guns, the hull tended to droop at the ends from uneven weight, and this caused the center of the boat to hump like a hog's back, called hogging. Hog chains kept the bow and stern from sagging, so you can see, go up, around, and around. That's pretty cool. Wonder what those were on the inside. Man, what a beast. You can see there's hooks there. That's a lifeboat could have hung there. Not that you could really abandon ship, you just swim to shore. And the plating went down and covered the hull and down below waterline, so she was protected. Then underneath she was all wooden. Getting further down, you can see the blocking and the giant paddle wheel in the arm off of that piston from the outside. What a beast. She is something. Totally magnificent. Coming up on the stern, there's those 2 cannon. And then you can see where the water was coming out. Somewhere's back here had to be her rudder. Oh, there it is. She had 2 rudder, 1 on each side, which was fairly common to make them steer quickly. And there had to be something that connected to the wheelhouse. I'm not sure how they connected her to the wheelhouse. Let's walk around and see on the other side. Look down the stern, see what they've got written up here. Man, does she have a nice... This whole canopy system keeps it so that she's protected, but you still got the feel of being outside in the Navy air. What a beast. Steering and ironclad. Rudders on either side of the paddle wheel steered the gunboat. These sturdy wooden fins were controlled by cables attached to the wheel in the pilot house. Well-aimed enemy fire could cut the steering cables and disable the gunboat, but it was probably pretty hard. You can see the hooks up there, and then they just had some cables that pulled them around and around. Yeah, it'd be actually pretty easy to hit those if you could. And here's about her paddle wheel. Cairo's 15-foot wide paddle wheel is made up of 4 22-foot diameter spiders. the web-like iron arms and circles that form the spokes of the wheel. Paddles or buckets were probably simple wooden planks of damage that could be easily replaced by the boat's carpenter. Paddle wheel churned within a well near the back of the boat. She was inside and she was open here so that could be well protected. That is an important thing. You don't want to lose your paddle wheel or your rudder. And fortunately, the rudders were probably much easier to get than you'd ever imagine. Now, let's see here. You've got some more things. I lost Dad somewhere. Freddie's out there. Probably still on board the boat. Or he went to look at the other side. There he is. Officers' quarters. Not that they were much. There's your captain's quarters. We're directly behind the paddle wheel. This part of the Cairo was lost during the salvage operation. It looks like officers' quarters on each side of the paddle wheel where we're looking right now. Cairo's officers slept separately from the enlisted men. Officers' quarters were on the gun deck on either side of the paddle wheel. Here they escaped the heat from the fire room of the boilers. Yep, right behind the guns was the officers' quarters. Maybe there's a little bit about, no, there's about the wheelhouse. The wheelhouse enclosed the paddle wheel. Wheelhouses were not armor plated. They were vulnerable to cannon fire from batteries atop the forts along high river banks. Well, that was dumb. Wheelhouse and latrine. The water ran off the paddle wheel and into the latrine to supply a shower head and flush the commode. Nice. But that makes sense. Put her up there. And then I'm gonna go up a little higher and take another look. And then we will come back and catch up with Dad. And you can hear birds. It's such a beautiful day. It's overcast. It's cool. Man, what a nice day. The skylights, let's see here. The skylights provided light for the gun deck and engine room and for inspection of the paddle wheel. The frame of the skylights has been ghosted with the light-colored glue laminated wood. During the southern summer, Cairo below decks was oppressively hot. Heat from the boilers worsened the stifling conditions. Skylights and funnels vented some of the heat, and fresh air came in through the gun ports. You can see how the skylights would have been right there. Whew. Imagine being in there. Them boilers were hot. Let's see, what else we got? Just a great view of the river.